Okay, so now what we will gonna do? We will gonna look at all the challenges. So the CRA API, the current vulnerable application, has designed in such a way that it includes all of the 2019 OWASP top 10 API security vulnerabilities. Okay, so first thing first, we will gonna look at BOLA vulnerabilities. What exactly is this vulnerability? BOLA, full form, broken object level authorization. This vulnerability is somewhat similar to IDOR vulnerability with a small difference that in IDOR vulnerability, what we used to do, we used to manipulate or change the ID value so that we can see or edit or perform, create, read, update, delete sort of activity or action on another user. Correct? Meaning in IDOR, what we used to do, we used to change the ID value so that I can basically see other users' sensitive information, which I am not authorized to do at all. But in broken object level authorization, the scenario, not scenario, but the concept is similar to IDOR with a little bit difference that now in broken object level authorization, instead of me going ahead and changing the ID value, what I'll do, I will first navigate the entire application to check if the application somewhat or somewhere leaking any sort of GUID information, and then I will replace the identified GUID with my own GUID or UUID values. Okay, so the GUID or UUID is nothing but the unique identifier, and in order to mitigate or in order to fix the IDOR vulnerability, there has been a concept introduced in the industry which is known as UUID. But still, even though we cannot perform brute force kind of attack on UUID because it will be time constrained, what we will gonna do? We will simply replace the entire UUID or GUID with the identified UID or GUID. Okay, so basically the UIDs are nothing but a 32-bit hexadecimal digits which are separated in 5 groups followed by the hyphens. So this is exactly how my UUIDs will gonna look like. There will be first 8 alphanumerical values followed by another 4 alphanumerical values as in characters or letters, then again 4 alphanumerical values, again 4 alphanumerical values, and at last there will be 12 alphanumerical values. This is how our normal UUID looks like. And again, this UUID concept, it has a couple of different versions, such as version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, and version 5. So as for the moment, we will not gonna go dig deeper into the UUID, but our main objective is to identify the UUID and play along with UUIDs. Okay, the same is highlighted in the challenges. So there are two challenges for broken object level authorization vulnerabilities. One is to access another user's vehicle, and the second one is to access a mechanic report of other users. Okay, now the interesting part is, in order to solve challenge one, what we have to do, we have to first identify my own endpoint which makes a HTTP request which has GUID or UUID inside of them, and then I will have to identify a endpoint which leaks other users vehicle information, and then I will have to replace the identified vehicle IDs or vehicle GUIDs with my own vehicle GUID. This is how we will going to solve the challenge number one. So let's do that. First thing first, again I'll have to create an account. So API security 1, API security. Okay, let me use some other name. Other name should be not root, let's say box. Email ID z@z.com. Phone number 12341234000. And the password should be again test@123. This is my password. test@123. Password does not match. Okay. T should be capital and sign up. Now with the same information, I'm gonna log in into the application. 123. P should be capital, and here we go. Okay. So now the challenge involves vehicle. We don't have any sort of vehicle. I have this click here button. So if I click on that, it simply says the message that my newly purchased vehicle detail has been sent to my email address, and the email address belongs to the Mailhog web portal, which is this. So let's check. Yep, I do get the VIN and PIN code. Let's add this into our application. So when I go ahead and click on adding the vehicle information, I do get the box to fill VIN and PIN code. Okay. So sorry for me pronouncing that option as a box. Okay. So the VIN ID goes here, PIN code goes here, and let's verify the vehicle. Yes, vehicle has been saved successfully. Now I have to identify the endpoint, my own endpoint, which includes the vehicle ID, vehicle GUID, and that endpoint is nothing but this refresh location. So if I click on that, you can see that this is my endpoint, and this endpoint do involve my vehicle's GUID. Correct. I'm gonna simply send it to my repeater, forward the request, and I will analyze the endpoint, and I do get this thing. I mean, in the response, I do get the my current full name, my name, as well as my current vehicle's, what you say, longitude and latitude. So now I'll have to identify an endpoint which reveals another user's vehicle ID or car ID or GUID or whatever. For that, what I'll have to do, I'll have to simply click on the community button. This is my request, correct? And what if I check the repeater's response? Over here, we can see that there are a couple of vehicle ID available. So let me search this, and we can see that there are total 6 matches. That means there are total 6 vehicle IDs available. So yeah, this endpoint, which is community post endpoint, this endpoint reveals a lot of important information, such as if you can see over here, there has been a title posted by, post created on, and the image and the comment option available. But if you check the response has title, content, okay. But the author part is kind of confusing because it involves the nickname, the user's email ID, and the vehicle ID. Correct. This sort of additional information is revealed in the community's response. Correct. So let me check the vehicle ID. Do I have anything interesting vehicle IDs? Yes. So what if I go ahead, copy this vehicle ID and replace it with my this vehicle ID? Will my information gonna get changed over here? Let's check and send. Yes, indeed. My longitude, latitude, full name as well as email ID's information got replaced with other users. That means just by simply going ahead and changing to vehicle GUID, I can get another user's vehicle's geolocation, as you can see over here. So this is how we will solve the challenge number 1. Now for the challenge number 2, what it says, access mechanic report of other users. But there is a small twist. What's that twist? For challenge 1, the sequential numeric ID values was replaced by the alphanumeric GUID values. Correct. But for challenge 2, there is no such thing at all. Meaning, I will be able to see the report IDs in clear text. I mean, in numerical values. I will be able to see the report ID as numerical values. So let's try to analyze the report submission process. Then we will have to find the hidden API endpoint that exposes the details of mechanic report. And then we will have to change the report ID to access other users report. So let's see how we can do it. For that, I'll have to navigate to dashboard. Let me turn it off. Yep. Then contact mechanic. Turn on the intercept. Let's select any one of them. Test message should be my problem description. And once I click on the send service request button, this should be my what you say. This should be my post request. Okay. And by analyzing the HTTP's response of this endpoint, I do get the additional endpoint detail over here, which do include the report ID. So simply now what I have to do, I have to simply copy this report ID and navigate it to the new tab and enter it over here. Let me forward all this thing. Okay, I don't want Google Maps. Request, forward. Okay, now what is the message? JWT token required. No problem. Let me refresh it. And I will simply gonna copy paste this authorization bearer and paste it below the post header like this. And now if I forward this, I will be given the mechanic report, which is mine, z@z.com. This is my email ID. But what if I change the ID value from 13 to 2? Again, JWT token required. So I will have to copy this over here. Let me forward it to the repeater and add the authorization token over here and send the request. So yes, I can see other users report, and this is the problem detail of this user, and there is a contact number as well, and it was done. This mechanic report was created on 19th of October 2024. Okay, the recent one. So this is the intentional vulnerable application. So we will not gonna go dig deeper into like whose contact detail is this, what is the user's correct exact name. Okay, so just by simply changing the report ID, we were able to get the other users sensitive information. Sensitive information as in other users mechanic report. This is how we solve challenge number 1 and challenge number 2. Later on, we will look at broken user authentication. Okay,